Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at puzzle number 40. It's a medium puzzle. This is from Sudoku to Go volume 103 by Soap Opera Digest. And in addition to that, we're going to solve the entire puzzle. But before we get started, I'm going to talk about the basic terminology that I use on puzzles. And so I'll just do that first, and then we're going to go over a couple of techniques that we can use on a medium puzzle to solve it, and then we'll just solve the entire puzzle. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the basics, basic terms. Each of these individual squares is a cell, and each one holds one number, whether it's populated or not. Each one of these is called a cell. We usually just focus on the empty cells when we're talking about different strategies and things, but that's the basic unit of a Sudoku puzzle, is a cell. Then we've got the concept of a row, and a row is 9 cells, 9 adjacent cells that are all aligned horizontally, and there are 9 rows, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows, and each row can hold every one of the 9 numbers and can only hold one of each number. Okay, then we've got columns, and just like rows, there are 9 columns. Each column has 9 adjacent cells in it, and each column can hold one of each number. And then we have the concept of a box. This is a box right here, and when you think of a box, you can think of a cardboard box, and if you open the lid and look inside, you can see 9 numbers in there, 1 through 9, and that's what a box is here in this puzzle, is 9 cells that can hold exactly one of each number, 1 through 9. And then we talk about sections. Sections are used to help you try and find numbers. There are 6 different sections on a puzzle, and a section is 3 boxes together. Like this box, and this box is one section. This is a horizontal section, the top horizontal section. This is the middle horizontal section and the bottom horizontal section. This is the left vertical, middle vertical, and right vertical sections. And I'll give you an example how to use those. If we're looking for a 9, for example, we can look in this middle horizontal section. We've got a 9 here and a 9 here, so we know that 2 of the 3 rows already have a 9, so we know that one of these has to hold a 9. And we can look at this section in combination with this section. We'll see there's a 9 here and a 9 here already, which covers these 2 columns, so the 9 has to fit in this column. And there's a 9 there already, so we know that's a 9, and I'll just fill that in. So that's how we use sections. You can go through all the numbers 1 through 9 and look for numbers that way, like I did with this 9 right here. Okay. I talk about containers when I'm solving puzzles. A container is either a row, a column, or a square. and which are the three different containers, if you will, that can hold all the numbers 1 through 9. And these containers kind of have a correlation. You'll notice that each box has 3 rows running through it. If we look at this box right here, that's a container, and it holds 9 numbers. And it has 3 rows running through it, and it has 3 columns running through it. Now, if you look at an individual cell anywhere in the puzzle, like let's choose this one right here, this is a member of this box, or this box container. It's a member of this row container, and it's a member of this column container. Every single cell in the entire puzzle is associated with 1 row, 1 column, and 1 box. So that's kind of an interesting way of looking at it. So when I talk about containers, that's what I mean, either a row, column, or box. Now, I've talked about a box already, and I wanted to point out that I use the term box now, but in my earlier videos I used the term square for box. So you can view those as the same thing, depending on which video you're watching, or a newer one or an older one. I changed that because I used to call these squares, but some people call the individual cells squares, and most people call this a box or a block. And so I changed the terminology I use for this, and I call it a box now rather than a square. And I hope that makes it easier for you to understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Now there are a couple of strategies, and they're kind of like intermediate strategies. One is using ghost numbers, and one is using twins and triplets. And I wanted to talk about those too, but I'll talk about those as we get started solving this puzzle. Now we can start with ones, and we'll go through all the sections one at a time, looking at one number each at a time, and we'll try and solve the sections. So we start out with a 1. We've got a 1 here and a 1 here, so one of those is a 1. We look here, we've got a 1 here, we've got a 1 here, so one of these has to be a 1. And we've got a 1 here and a 1 here, and we've got a 1 here and a 1 here. So just like this 9, where we had 9, 9, 9, 9, we've got 4 1s here already, so we know that is a 1. Now let me introduce the concept of ghost numbers, because we can find a 1 over here. One of these is a 1 if we use ghost numbers. There's a 1 here already, and there's a 1 here, so we know one of these is a 1, and there in this box the only place for a 1 is one of these 2 cells. So they're both in row 1 here. So since we know one of these is a 1, we don't know which one is a 1 yet, but we know both of them can be a 1. Therefore, we can't have a 1 anywhere else on this row outside of this box. So therefore, we know none of these can be 1s. And because of that, we've got a 1 here, ghost 1s here, and a 1 here, so we know that is a 1. Now we also, before I put this 1 here, if we look at the number 6 for this box right here, we have a 6 here and a 6 here and a 6 here. Now if I didn't put this 1 in, we'd know the 6 could fit in one of these 2 places. And now if you look at this box right here, we've got a 6 here and a 6 here. So we know one of these is a 6, so we have ghost 6s here too. So before we put this 1 in, we could have seen that this cell right here is a 6 because of these ghost numbers. Of course, we didn't need to go to that length because we already had a 1 here, so we knew that was a 6, but I just wanted to point that out, that that's another way of solving that 6 there. In fact, let's look over here again. Look at this 6 right here. We've got a 6 here and a 6 here. So we've got ghost 6s here. Just like the ghost 1s here, we don't know where the 6 goes, but we know that goes one of these two places. And we've got a 6 here and a 6 here. So we have ghost 6s here. So we know that this can't be a 6 because there are ghost 6s there. So we know that's a 6 right there. Okay. So that's a concept of ghost numbers, and they can help you quite a bit on medium to diabolical puzzles. So at this point, let's just go through the numbers. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. I've got a 1 here, so 1, 1, 1. And actually, remember we have ghost 1s here, and we have ghost 1s here, so we can put this, fill this 1 in, because that can't be a 1 right there, because of we have a 1 here, we have a 1 here, so these are ghost 1s here. Okay, 2s. 2, 2. There's a 2 there. So we have ghost 2s here and a 2 here, so we know one of these is a 2. 2. Any of those can be a 2. 2, 2, 2. Okay, we got ghost 2s there also. So we know one of these is a 2. Okay. Alright, 3s. 3 here. So one of those is a 3. Any of those can be 3. Any of those. 3 here. So one of these is a 3. Ghost 3's there, so one of these is a 3. 3. 3. 3. Okay, 4s. 4, 4. 4. 4, 4. So that's a 4 right there. Okay, 4. Got a 4 there, so we know that's a 4. Okay, so one of these two is a 4. And we've got a 4 here. 4. And we've got a 4 and a 4 there, so one of these two is a 4. Okay, 5s. 5, 5, 5. And there's a 5 there. You see how we're using sections here. So 5, 5, 5. Okay. A 5. Here we've got a 5 right here, because we got a 5 there, a 5 there, and a 5 there. So one of these two is a 5. And now we have a 4 and a 4 here, so one of these is a 4, and we just found out that one of those is also a 5. So we have what we call twins right here. We can't solve them, but we know one of these is a 4 and one of these is a 5. So we have twins. That's what we call twins. Okay, so we'll remember those twins right there. Since we can't solve them yet, we'll remember them here and see if we can do something with them in a minute. So we got a 5 here and a 5 here. So one of those is a 5. Okay, 6s. 6, 6, 6. One of those is a 6. 6, 6. 6. those, 6. So we know that's a 6 there. Okay, and what do we have here? We got a 6 and a 6 now, 6 there, so we know that's a 6. Okay, we got a 6 and a 6, so one of these is a 6, and that's a 6 there. So I think we've got all our 6's now. 6, 6, 6, 6. Yeah, all the 6's are done. Okay, 7, 7, 7. And you can see going through sections with a medium puzzle is pretty helpful. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Okay, one of those is a 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Let's see. So okay, 8's, 8. 8, and any of those can be an 8. Got an 8 here and an 8 here, so one of these two is an 8. 8, 8, and any of those can be an 8. 9, 9, so one of those is a 9. Okay, we've got a 9 here and a 9 here, so we know that's a 9 right there. 9, 9, 9. So we got a 9 here and a 9 here, so one of these two is a 9. Okay, and 9, 9, 9, 9. Okay, we've got a 9 here and a 9 here, a 9 there, so we know this is a 9. We know one of these two is a 9, because we've got a 9 there and 9 there, 9. Okay, so 9, 9, 9, so that's a 9 right there. 9, 9, 9, 9. So now we have all our 9's. Now we filled in quite a few numbers, so I'm going to go through the sections one more time, because I think we can find more numbers now. Because we filled in a bunch. 1's, 1. Okay, there's a 1 right there. So we have a 1, 1, and a 1. 1, 1, 1. There's a 1 there. Okay, so now we completed our 1's. Okay, let's see, with 2's, we got a 2. One of those is a 2. One of those is a 2. Any of those can be a 2. Those and those. 2. So that's a 2 right there. So we got a 2 there and a 2 there. Okay, and with those two we know this is a 2. Alright, let's see. Now we have a 2 here. We know these are ghost 2's right here, because that's a 2. So we know one of these two is a 2. We know one of these two is a 2. Okay, so one of those two is a 2. Okay, let's do 3's. 3 here and a 3 here, so we know this is a 3 here. Okay, now we have 3's here, so one of those is a 3, and we have a 2 here, so one of these is a 2. So we know these are 2, 3 twins. We can't solve them yet, but we know that one's a 2 and one's a 3, so we can find this number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's an 8. Okay. Another way we can use 2 3's is, now that's one of the containers. These 2 3's are in this box, and they're also in this column. So we can see if we can find this number here too with these 2 3 twins here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's an 8. We know that's an 8 because all we're missing is 2, 3, and 8 in there. And we know these are 2 and 3. Okay, so let's see. We've got a 8 right here because we have an 8 there and an 8 there. And got an 8 here and an 8 here, so we know that's an 8. And we've only got one number left here, and then we'll only have one number left here, so we can do those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 7. And one number left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we know that's a 4. Okay. We know this is a 4. It's the only number missing here, and we got 4s there. Okay. Now we can solve these 4 5s. Remember we had 4 5 twins here? There's a 4 there now, so we know that's a 5, and therefore that has to be a 4. See how we can use twins. And then we got a 4 here and a 4 here, so that's a 4. Let's see what we have left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These are twins also because they're the only two numbers left in this box. We can't solve them because we don't have a 2 or a 7 here to know which one goes where. But it's good to know we have twins there. Alright, let's look at this right here. Oh, let's look at this row right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2 and 7 are missing there. There's a 7, so we know that's a 2. That's a 7. Now we've got a 7 here, so that has to be a 7. So we've got 7, 7. Now we can put in this 7 and we know that's a 2 because we know that's a twin. And then we got a 2 here and a 2 here, so we know that's a 2. Alright, we've only got one number left in this box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a 3. But let me point out one more thing. We're only missing one number in this box. We're also only missing one number in this row, and in this column we're missing 2 numbers. You see the relationship between this row, this column, and this box. I'll put this 3 in, and that will complete this box and this row. Okay, let's look at this box. And one reason I point that out is because when you've only got one number left, you could look along this row, or you can look in this box to see what number fits there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a 3 also. Okay. Now we're only missing one number here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a 5. Let's see what we're missing here. It looks like a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's a 2 right there. And you remember our 2, 3 twins right here? We can do those now because we've got a 2 there. Put a 3 there and a 2 there. And now we've only got one number in this row left. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's an 8. Okay, we have an 8 here, 8 here, and 8 here, so we know that's an 8. Let's look at these two numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 and 7. There's a 7. So 3 and 7. Okay. Let's look at these two numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 3 and 8 are missing. There's an 8, so that's a 3, and that's an 8. Okay, now we've only got two cells empty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 3 and 5 are missing. There's a 5 and a 3. 3 and 5. Okay. So let me just review real quick, now that we've solved it. I'll just review all the terminology I used. We've got rows, we've got columns, we've got boxes, and all three of those are called containers. And they're containers because they each can hold all 9 numbers. A row can hold all 9 numbers, a column can hold all 9 numbers, and a box can hold all 9 numbers. Okay, a box in earlier videos in this channel were called squares. So if you hear the term square, you'll know what that means. We talked about sections and solving sections. Here's a horizontal section, here's a vertical section. We've got 6 sections. Okay. And we learned about ghost numbers, how to use ghost numbers to find other numbers. And we talked about twins. And we found a couple of twins. These 4 5s were twins here. And I think we found a couple other, these 2 3 were twins here. These 2 3s here. So, well, I hope that helped you. And for those who are kind of getting started or just working on mediums and maybe hard puzzles now, hopefully those techniques I showed you will help you with those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.